So welcome back folks, this is Shardul Gavande from Ace Knowledge, and as in the previous practical session we have seen introduction to Android Studio and its architecture. So now in this session we will understand what are views and layouts. So let's start. So here I have created a project called as views and layouts, and this is our main activity.java file. So let's go into its designing part, or you can say in the XML files. So now here, as we can see, we are having here as palette. Okay, so here, so these are the views I'm talking about. So here we are having multiple views as text view, button, toggle button, checkbox, radio button, all the necessary GUI components which we require to develop for the design of an application. So here by default, here this is the text view, as this we have seen in our very first practical session also. So this is a text view. We have here check text view spinner. The spinner here is as a drop down list. We have drop down list in our websites, right? So in this Android we have a spinner. So the progress bar, then the progress bar, you can say the loading part, how much times it takes to load your application. Then seek bar, rating bar, switch rating bar, as in if you are doing a feedback form or any rating or review type, so you can just mention, you can just drag and drop this rating bar. So yeah, you can code it from here, the text file, or you can simply drag and drop any view from here, which makes it easy to develop your application. For example, this spinner I dragged and dropped it over here. Okay, so you can see over here the spinner has been placed, or you can say let's take a button, drag and drop it over here. So a button has been dragged and dropped over here. We can just zoom it out. We have options over here to zoom, so that we can get a clear view of what we are placing over here in our layout file. So now here we are having, on the very right side we have properties, where we are having ID. So you can basically give the ID of button. By default is button. You can give it any as submit, say you can say submit, or you can say ID btn1 or anything. Then what are this layout width and height? So by default they are wrap contained. We have here two options as wrap contained and match parent. So what is wrap contained? Wrap contained means the button which you have placed, it will only occupy that particular space. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, wrap contained means only the button which you have placed, it will occupy only that much of space. No need, it will not occupy the entire width or the entire height of your layout. But if you specify match parent, then probably it will occupy the entire width of your layout file. As I have specified, layout width is equal to match parent, so it will match only to the width of the button, width of the layout. So if I select this height as match parent, then you can see it will occupy the entire height. Okay, the layout file, the entire screen height it will occupy. So what are this DP and DP? So DP stands for device independent pixels, and there are two terms actually, DP and SP. SP stands for scale independent pixels. That means we have various devices running on Android operating systems. So each device has its own different size for text, for buttons, and also to make it in terms of responsive, or you can say the layout file or the design should not be disturbed in any of the device. So that is the reason we mention it as DP, or you can say we'll mention it SP, scale independent device, rather than DP. So it will automatically scale itself according to the device configuration. Okay, so that's the difference between wrap contained and match parent. So we have next here as style, button style, background. You can simply specify here the background image, background color of your button. The over here it will appear the background color. Then I've clicked over here, it's taking time to load. Okay, yeah, it got loaded. So here you can specify the color of your button you required. For example, let's specify orange light. Okay, now you can see it will reflect over here. Yeah, so This in this manner we can set a properties, visibility, on click, so on click of this button which particular method should get called and stuff like that. We'll see it later. Text over here, if you want to edit the text of the button, if you want to edit, keep it as submit, then you can simply edit over here, and you can see it gets reflect over here. Okay, submit. Let's zoom it out and see. So here, so these are basically properties, various properties of buttons, or you can see any of the views over here. So now let's understand what are layouts. We have seen different types of views. We have many views over here. Yeah, we'll go through some of the views while developing our project. And yeah, in fact, in the by the end of this series we will develop an Android application of our channel Ace Knowledge, where we will be fetching videos from YouTube and playing it on our Android application. Sounds cool, right? Yes. So you will be part of this development, so you will also understand what all things we require. So let's just understand the basic things first. So now talking about the layouts, so here I come over here, layouts. So we have two main layouts, that is your relative layout and your linear layout. So these are the two main layouts, relative and linear layout. So let's understand first the relative layout. This constraint layout is the updated version of Android Studio. By default, if you are using less than 2.3 version, then you'll get as relative layout. So this is the updated version of Android. So this is the new layout which has come. So let's edit this and just see for relative layout. So here also we need to edit relative layout. Okay, so now here what is the error over here? Attribute missing Android namespace. So we are getting a error as a namespace error. So let's fix it out. Okay, I think so it's the spacing issue. Yeah, it was the spacing issue. So relative layout, let's go into the design part. So I'll edit this. Let's edit all this thing, delete these things. Let's understand what is here. So let me talk about relative layout. So relative layout, as its name suggests, name as the definition from the name, we understand that it is in a relation to its view. There is some relation between the views we drag and drop over here in our layout file. So let's take one view over here. Let's take a radio button, drag and drop a radio button. So here we are having radio button. Let's take the second view as a plain text. So now you can see that this is the very first radio button which I have dragged and dropped, and the second was the plain text. So we can see over here there is some arrow pointing over here to the radio button. So this arrow describes that there is some relation between the plain text and between the radio button. So we'll consider this as the parent and this second plain text as its child. So relation as in where the child element is placed from its parent element, whether it is below the parent element, whether it is at the top of the parent element, whether it is to the left or whether it is to the right. So we can see over here. So now let's place it over here at the top. So in the text we have your radio button, and here we are having where is that? So let's take it over to the right manner. Yeah, so we can see over here that Android layout align parent top is equal to true. So this is the relationship between the child and the parent. So it will automatically say that it is to the top of your parent element. Okay, so if it is to the bottom, it will say it is to the bottom of your. So this is the relation which it has. It will say as center layout center vertical true. So there are many relation, or you can say see center horizontal equal to true. So in many relationships it can be assigned to the parent element. Okay, so that is the use of relative layout. So now let's understand what is linear layout. So let's edit this linear layout. so so yeah, it automatically reflects over here. So now again I edit this, delete it. So linear layout basically specifies the orientation of your layout, as in what manner your layout should be visible, whether it should be looked horizontally or vertically. By default, if you do not specify orientation, then it is horizontal orientation. But if you want your orientation to be vertical, then you need to specify as Android colon orientation equal to vertical. So let's, for now we don't specify any orientation. Let's see what the by default orientation looks like. So I here drag and drop again a button over here. Okay, let's take a radio button. So see, you can see over here that radio button, as I've just dragged and dropped it over here, automatically the button, the first element button got assigned to the very right side, and radio button came over here. So this is horizontal orientation. What if I want this button right down to this radio button? So I'll go in the text and specify, I'll write it over here as Android colon orientation equal to vertical, and let's keep this as linear layout as wrap content. So I think that is the reason it was the button was actually taking its entire size of the layout. So let's keep it as wrap content, as we have taken linear layout. Yeah, so now you can see Android orientation equal to vertical. So now in the design, let's see over here. So you got to see now that the button has been placed down to the immediately of the radio button. So what if I remove this? So again it will go back to its original position. Yeah, so this is the advantage of linear layout. We can specify orientation of a layout as per our need. Okay, so that's it from this video. Thank you very much, and please do subscribe.